टोनी रॉबिन्स से आपकी मुलाकात भी हुई, तो वो मुलाकात सिर्फ एक महज मुलाकात थी या कुछ बातचीत भी कुछ शब्दों में हुई?
ये कौन सी दुनिया है? ऐसी दुनिया हो सकती है क्या? A lot of fumbling, in their speaking. Some get to the level where they can get panic attack. Their legs starts trembling. They can't control it because the fear has kicked in so much because the brain is saying, you know what, you're about to die.
What is connection, or is it interconnected language and public speaking? If I am I have good accuracy in language, can I claim myself as a good public speaker?
If you're just not showing your palm openly, there could be a non-verbal message like if you're hiding something, maybe. Now, coming from a country like India, English is not a language. English is status symbol.
Right.
English is personality. English is lifestyle. Amitabh Bachchan. Can I become Amitabh Bachchan? I can do a little bit of, hi, Biranath Chauhan, hi. But that doesn't make me Amitabh Bachchan. Right?
So when we go on the stage as a public speaker, as a coach, as a trainer, how to greet or how to just, that first sentence?
No matter how many partners we change, no matter how many jobs we change, no matter how many business we change, if we do not work,
I have seen the stick is there, right? So the stick to the neck you touch, and I want to understand that. What is that technique? And if you could reveal it, because it's part of your workshop.
And then your mouth can open out. If you're sad, then it's. Some people go like, I was sad. Excuse me. What was that sadness? If you're sad, then at least make some effort in your facial gesture, right? Right. So yeah, facial gestures are very powerful.
This is the best moment because I'm sitting with one of the persons who is very special, who is amazing and fantastic. But before I disclose his name, I just want to say that he started with providing information with complete devotion and dedication, and he brought transformation. But yet, it's not his final destination. I am talking about that person who has trained thousands and thousands of people across the nation and the world, who has trained Indians, Americans, UK people, Canadians, Australians, and as well as many other countries' people. So I do feel and I do believe that this podcast is going to be an amazing podcast, and this podcast is going to be a wonderful podcast. My name is Amandeep Thind, but it's not an end. So let's start and begin a great conversation and podcast with one of the best speakers and public speaking coaches in the world, I do believe. So welcome and welcome.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you so much.
Shukriya.
Shukriya, sir. And first of all, I welcome you cordially in this great podcast. And I just want to ask you that Mr. Amandeep Thind, that Amandeep Thind from Bengal, Punjab, then moved to UK, then again, people are crazy attending workshops, taking workshops. How this Mr. Amandeep Thind has built himself?
ये तो अभी 10-15 घंटे लगेंगे.
चलेगा.
जैसे आपने ऑलरेडी मेंशन कर दिया है कि कलकत्ता फिर लंदन, जर्नी कोलकाता में शुरू हुई थी. एक कमरे के मकान में शुरू हुई थी. मॉम डैड पढ़ लिख नहीं पाते और डैड टैक्सी चलाते थे और उनका एक सपना था कि बच्चे हमारी ज़िंदगी बदलेंगे. तो वो चाहते थे कि मैं और मेरी बड़ी सिस्टर जो है दोनों इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल में पढ़ें. और आई एम श्योर यू नो द रीज़न व्हाई. एग्जैक्टली, ये एक्सप्लेन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं. आई एम श्योर आपके काफ़ी लिसनर्स समझते होंगे. पर जब उन्होंने अपनी सेविंग्स और अर्निंग्स को देखा, दो क्या एक को भी नहीं भेज सकते थे. तो आई थिंक लाइफ में कुछ एंजल्स आते हैं आपके. हमारे लाइफ के एंजल्स थे हमारे पड़ोसी. वो नेपाल से हैं ओरिजिनली, अब तो काफ़ी अरसे से कलकत्ता में ही बसे हुए हैं. प्रधान फैमिली कहते हैं उनको. तो उन्होंने मेरी मम्मी को पर्सनल लोन जिसे कहते हैं एज नो इंटरेस्ट दिया. और सबसे बड़ी जो मदद दी जो हम करते हैं, आप और हम मिलके करते हैं, इंस्पिरेशन. उन्होंने मेरी मम्मी से कहा कि उनको गुड्डी कहते थे, वो निकनेम था कि गुड्डी तू लगा बेटे को स्कूल में, कुछ होगा तो देख लेंगे. और उन्होंने देखा भी कई बार. तो फिर इस तरह से मेरी इंग्लिश मीडियम की जर्नी शुरू हुई. इसलिए इंग्लिश जो है काफ़ी अच्छी हो गई. तो 3rd स्टैंडर्ड में मैं हिंदी मीडियम से इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल में गया. एक कमरे में रहना, फाइनेंशियल चैलेंजेस, सेकेंड हैंड क्लोथ्स मिलते थे नेबर्स से, सेकेंड हैंड बुक्स मिलते थे. दुर्गा पूजा को एक नया जोड़ा कपड़े का मिलता था, तो बहुत मज़ा आता था. अभी भी दुर्गा पूजा ज़िंदगी में बड़ा खास है. कहीं भी रहूँ तो मुझे वाइब्स फील होते हैं. मेरे चैलेंजेस बचपन में अपार्ट फ्रॉम फाइनेंशियल चैलेंजेस जो पेरेंट्स के थे वो मेरे पर्सनल नहीं थे। मेरे पर्सनल चैलेंजेस थोड़े डिफरेंट थे। मैं एक्चुअली मिक्स्ड हूँ। मेरी मॉम बंगाली है और मेरे डैड पंजाबी हैं। डैड बहुत गोरे हैं, या थे।
मॉम
मॉम सावली हैं।
सावली,
हाँ, तो
मिक्सचर अमनदीप थिंड है।
हाँ जी। तो लोग कई नामों से बुलाते थे, कई नामों से चिढ़ाते थे। अब समझ में आता कि उनको भी इतना ज्ञान नहीं था, वो वही कर रहे थे जो हमने समझाया गया था। तो एक कलकत्ता में एक शब्द है जो इस्तेमाल किया जाता है काफ़ी लाइक सरदारों के लिए, आई थिंक वो कहते हैं बंदा गोभी, क्योंकि बंदा गोभी पगड़ी बनी होती है ना, तो बंदा गोभी कहते हैं।
अच्छा अच्छा।
तो अगर आप जैसे मान लो अपनी कम्युनिटी के लोगों के पास जाते हैं तो वो कहते हैं कि आप पंजाबी इनफ नहीं हो, ठीक है ना, आप सिंह लगते दिखते नहीं हो। और जो बंगाली कम्युनिटी है वो आपको अलग नाम से चिढ़ाती है। तो अपनी एक दुनिया बन गई थी, मतलब इतनी शायद थी नहीं जितनी हमने बना ली उस वक्त, क्योंकि उस वक्त इतनी इतनी नॉलेज नहीं होती, आपको इतनी इल्म नहीं होती है ना, आपको लगता है सब आपको डिस्क्रिमिनेट कर रहे हैं, सब आपको बुली कर रहे हैं, आपकी ओरिजिनलिटी पे सवाल उठा रहे हैं कि तुम भाई इतने काले क्यों, पंजाबी हो तुम, पंजाबी दिखते नहीं, और डैड को देखो कितने गोरे हैं। तो कुछ यहाँ तक भी सवाल चला जाता है इनडायरेक्टली, क्या सच अपने बाप के, सच में अपने बाप के बेटे हो क्या, हो जाता है कुछ हद तक। तो वो चैलेंजेस थे। फिर क्वेश्चंस था कि क्यों ऐसे हैं हम हैं, कि क्यों हम दूसरों की तरह हो नहीं सकते। फिर बहुत कुछ किया हमने, फेयर एंड लवली, कच्चा दूध, कच्ची हल्दी, पता नहीं कौन कौन से पत्ते बोले लोगों ने, वो लगाने से गोरा रंग हो जाता है, वो सब भी पीस के लगा लिया, हुआ ही नहीं कुछ भी।
कुछ नहीं
हुआ भी बहुत हल्का फुल्का हुआ, और वो अगर हो भी गया तो चला गया 2-4 दिन में, 10 दिन 15 दिन में। तो मतलब खुद को होने में बड़ी दिक्कत थी। तो फिर जब 16 साल के थे, फिर पापा का बहुत बड़ा एक्सीडेंट हो गया, वो टैक्सी चलाते थे, आई थिंक उनका कोई चॉइस नहीं था। फिर हम पंजाब चले आए। पंजाब में भी हम ऐसे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं जो काफ़ी लोग नहीं जानते, पर हम लुधियाना बताते हैं, और हाँ एक्चुअल लुधियाना के हैं नहीं।
अच्छा कहाँ?
हम बगल वाले एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, उसका नाम है संगरूर।
संगो।
हाँ, तो लुधियाना करीबन 45 किलोमीटर है मेरे गाँव से। अच्छा। तो उस वक्त रिमोट था बहुत, विलेज बिशनगढ़ नाम है मेरे गाँव का।
अच्छा।
1994 में कोई मोबाइल नहीं था, कुछ एक पूरे गाँव में एक फ़ोन था, लैंडलाइन, सब वहीं आते थे अपना फ़ोन सुनने। तो लाइफ बहुत कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग हो गई। सिटी में चैलेंजेस थे बट एक लेवल पे थे। गांव में ज़्यादातर जो बच्चे मेरे एज में थे वो फार्मिंग उमिंग में थे, उनकी दाढ़ियाँ होती थी ज़्यादातर बच्चों की, और वो पटका पगड़ी पहनते थे, फार्मिंग करते थे, तो वो फिजिकली स्ट्रांग थे। तो आप उनके अंदर आ गए तो फिर वो टर्म यूज़ करते हैं, कुछ कुछ लेबर क्लास लोग अगर एक सेगमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री से आते हैं, एक पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड में, तो उनको एक नाम से बुलाया जाता है, उस नाम से आपको बुलाते हैं, उस नाम का एक लेबलिंग है, वो अच्छा नाम नहीं है। तो मेरी पंजाबी भी बड़ी थकी हुई थी उस वक्त, या फिर गांव वाली तो बिल्कुल थी ही नहीं, वो थोड़ी हिंदी टाइप पंजाबी थी।
अच्छा।
और गांव में ठेठ पंजाबी चलती। तो मैं ये पंजाबी गुरमुखी वगैरह पढ़ नहीं पाता था उसमें।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा।
तो जैसे कि आपके स्कूल का बैग टंगा हुआ है, ठीक है ना, आप लुधियाना जा रहे हो, तो आप किसी से पूछ रहे हो कि ये शेरपुर वाली बस कहाँ कहाँ मिलेगी आपको, और आपके पीछे शेरपुर वाली बस खड़ी हुई है, पर वो पंजाबी में लिखी हुई है। तो पहले तो आपको लुक देता है ऊपर से नीचे तक, राइट, कि एक तो तुम स्कूल में पढ़ता है भाई, अच्छा खासा लड़का लग रहा है, नौजवान तू है ना, 16-17 साल का, राइट, तेरे बस पीछे बस खड़ी है, तो मजाक कर रहा है क्या मेरे साथ, है ना। तो बड़े अजीब से तरह जवाब देते हैं, तेरे पीछे खड़ी दीना नहीं है, कहाँ है क्या खरीद रही है, तो प्यार से कोई बात नहीं करता। तो आपको पढ़ना नहीं आता भाई, हाँ पे इंग्लिश आती है, हिंदी आती है, पंजाबी नहीं पढ़नी आती। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे एक्सपीरियंसेस हुए लाइफ में। और फिर आई थिंक कर्मा कहते हैं, या आपकी डेस्टिनी बुलाती है आपको, तो एमवे ने बुलाया मुझे।
अच्छा।
हाँ जी, नेटवर्क मार्केटिंग कंपनी है।
हाँ 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 हाँ, जानता हूँ, हाँ सुना। हाँ।
तो अब मुझे ही नहीं पता कैसे मिला वो, मैं उनको, पर वो चिट्ठी आई, गोल्डन हेडिंग थी, बड़े ज़बरदस्त लाइन लिखे हुए थे, हाँ, कि तुम बहुत स्पेशल हो, तुम्हें चुना गया है एक बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए, तुम आओ इस।
हाँ, नेटवर्क मार्केटिंग ऐसे ही कोड देती है वैसे।
हमको तो लगा स्पेशल है सच में, तो बाद में समझ में आया कि वो तो मार्केटिंग लाइन है, सबको लिखा हुआ है। जब पहुंचे तो पता लगा। तो जलंधर गए, 100 कुछ 20 किलोमीटर है हमारे गांव से,
ठीक है।
और स्टेज पे थे डॉक्टर ब्रैच भाई साहब।
अच्छा।
वो कनाडा से आए थे बिजनेस कर, अभी भी जलंधर शायद रहते हैं।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा।
हाँ, तो उन्होंने जो किया स्टेज से, तो भाई एकदम जैसे कहते हैं हिला दिया।
मोटिवेशन।
मतलब प्रोडक्ट ट्रेनिंग और बिजनेस पूरा प्लान, और वो लाइफ में कैसे आप फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम अचीव करते हैं, ये सब तो किसी ने सुना ही नहीं, सोचा नहीं था। तो स्टाइल पसंद आया, उनका फ्लो पसंद आया, और जो पर्सनालिटी होती है ना इंग्लिश बोलने की, और एक स्टाइल होता है, ऐसे ही बनना हमको यार, ख्याल बहुत दिल में कहीं आया और जैसे ही आया तो फिर डर भी लगा, अरे कैसे बन जाओगे, तो इंग्लिश ढंग से नहीं आती, कपड़े देखो तुम्हारे, उनके कपड़े देखो। तो उन्होंने कहा एंड में कि अगर आप बिजनेस नहीं भी ज्वाइन करते, वी हाईली रेकमेंड दैट यू पिक अप वन बुक फ्रॉम दिस बैक ऑफ द रूम। फिर मैं गया और मैंने देखा कलेक्शंस थे उनकी किताबों की। मेरी दुनिया खुल गई पहली बार, जिसे हम कहते हैं पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट, क्या सेल्फ हेल्प, राइट, बुक्स, राइट। तो मैंने 2 बुक्स वहाँ से पिक की और वो पढ़ने के बाद समझ में आ गया कि भाई अगर आपको जीवन बदलना है तो आपके हाथ में है काफ़ी हद तक। मेहनत आपको करनी है, रिवॉर्ड यूनिवर्स करेगा। तो बस उसके बाद से सिलसिला शुरू हुआ ट्रेनिंग का, सीखने का। फिर दिल्ली में आया अपनी ग्रेजुएशन करने 2000 में। 2003 में मैंने एक मोटिवेशनल प्रोग्राम किया है। हाँ, आपके एक लोकल ट्रेनर है, अच्छा मिस्टर अग्रवाल है। अच्छा, बाकी के लिसनर्स समझ ही आएंगे, बहुत पुराने हैं वो। हाँ, जानता हूँ। तो पहले वो 100 रुपये लेकर टीजर करते थे 2 घंटे का सीपी में, और उसके बाद फिर वो 12 सेशंस होते थे इवनिंग में, और पता नहीं 3 या 4 मॉर्निंग में होते थे। हाँ, तो उससे भी काफ़ी फ़र्क पड़ा, और वहाँ से गिफ्ट मिली टोनी रॉबिन्स की किताब की। अरे वाह! वहाँ पे किसी को मिला था जो दोस्त बन गए, अभी भी है, काफ़ी करीबी हो गए। अच्छी बात। तो उन्होंने फिर टोनी रॉबिन्स के बारे में ज़िक्र किया कि पढ़ी है तुमने किताब? हमने कहा ये कौन सी बला है भाई, ये कौन सी चीज़, कौन सी बला, हाँ, कौन सा ये बम है हो गया। वो तो इतना तारीफ कर रहे थे कि पढ़ना ही चाहिए तुमको, जबरदस्ती मतलब की। हाँ। अभी लो किताब। हाँ। क्या टाइटल क्या था? था अवेकन द जायंट विद। अच्छा, अवेकन। तो हम साउथ तक से लेकर आए किताब। हाँ। ग्रीन कलर की उसकी कवर होती थी, अब वो रेड हो गई है, बदल गई है वो, हमारे पड़ा हुआ वो। हाँ, हाँ, हाँ। तो किताब पढ़ी तो 6 ह्यूमन नीड्स समझ में आया काफ़ी हद तक। पेन एंड प्लेजर थ्योरी समझ में आई कि हमारा साइकोलॉजी कैसे प्लेजर की तरफ भागता है, पेन को अवॉइड करता है, राइट। और फिर किस्मत अच्छी थी, डेस्टिनी बुला रही थी, स्कॉलरशिप मिली 2006 में, यूके पहुंचे। अरे वाह! एक छोटा सा शहर है ऊपर, न्यू कैसल करके। अच्छा, लंदन से 4 घंटे का रास्ता है। अच्छा। तो वहाँ पे पार्ट टाइम जॉब ढूंढ रहे थे, टोनी भाई साहब की पिक्चर आ गई। अरे कुछ जानते थे किताब से, तो क्लिक करा, डिटेल्स दिए अपने, और फिर कॉल आ गया उनका, वो भी मार्केटिंग था। तो बाद में समझ आया, राइट। हाँ। तो उन्होंने कहा कि आप टोनी के इवेंट में आओ, अगर किताब से आपको फ़ायदा हुआ तो ये 100 गुना फ़ायदा होगा आपको। वो तो बहुत पैसिव है। तो हमने अच्छा, वो आइए। तो कहता ठीक है, ये डायमंड है, ये वीआईपी है, ये। तो हमने कहा सबसे सस्ती वाली कौन सी है? कहता वो जनरल टिकट है 400 पाउंड की। अरे 400 पाउंड, तो कमाई 150 पाउंड रहे हफ्ते का। तो बड़े अच्छे थे वो, कहते ठीक है तुम नए आए हो कंट्री में, तो उन्होंने वही 10% स्टूडेंट डिस्काउंट भी दिया, 3 पेमेंट्स दी इंस्टॉलमेंट। अच्छा। पे किया, पहुंच गया हम यूपीडब्ल्यू। उससे पहले 3-4 ट्रेनिंग्स कर रखी थी इंडिया में, 7 हैबिट्स ऑफ हाईली इफेक्टिव पीपल। हाँ। स्टीवन कवी के ट्रेनर के साथ गुड़गांव में किया था, 22-23 लोग थे। अच्छा। एक आध और ट्रेनिंग की थी जहाँ पे 50-60-100 लोग थे। हाँ। तो यूपीडब्ल्यू में पहुंचे तो 11-12 हज़ार लोग थे भाई साहब, मेला लगा पूरा एकदम। जब वो म्यूजिक बजा रहा तो सब उछल रहे थे। हाँ। हम भी उछल रहे थे। हमने कहा ये क्या चीज है, हाँ, ये कौन सी दुनिया है, ऐसी दुनिया हो सकती है क्या? यकीन नहीं हो रहा था। फिर उसने फर्स्ट डे जब शाम के वक्त 9-9:30 बजे बोला कि अब तुम अपने जूते खोलो और जुराबे उतार लो। अच्छा। हमें लगा था उससे पहले बिल्ड कर रहा है, ऐसे करते हैं ना ट्रेनर्स कि तुमको स्टेज पे बुलाएंगे, आपका हार्ट बीट हाई हो जाता है, फिर कहता नहीं बस एग्जाम्पल दे गया। हमने कहा ऐसे ही बिल्ड कर रहा है, कुछ नहीं होने वाला। पता नहीं था क्योंकि इतना इंटरनेट नहीं था उस पर, राइट। और टोनी के प्रोग्राम के बारे में इतनी बैकग्राउंड नहीं थी पता। जिस टोनी किताब पढ़ी थी ये पता था, चले गए। हाँ। तो भाई सॉक्स और शूज उतार के एक आपको पार्टनर दे देते हैं। हाँ। आप लोग लाइक हाथ पकड़ के चलते हो, एक्चुअल में चलना चाहिए, कुछ लोग पकड़े कुछ लोग नहीं पकड़े। हाँ। और वो हम लोग कर रहे हैं अपना जो उन्होंने दिया था एफर्मेशन, जोर लगाए जा रहे हैं। तो बाहर गए तो देखा सब आग की लपटें चल रही हैं, कम से कम 15 पीस ऐसे फैली हुई है। अरे तो देख के दिमाग में कुछ हुआ, मैंने कहा यार इस पे कौन चलेगा, पागल आदमी जो आग पे चलेगा। हाँ। सोच के देखो, आग है ना, कौन चलता है, बात है, सही बात। ऑब्वियसली थोड़ी लपटें उसकी थोड़ी नीचे हुई जब वो अब हमें बता रहे थे, कुछ ट्रेनिंग दे रहे थे, तो फिर वो लाइनें बढ़ गई, 500-600 की लाइनें बढ़ गई, सब खड़े हो गए। तो मैं भी खड़ा हो गया, मेरे सामने कुछ होंगे करीब 50-60 लोग। फिर मेरा टर्न आया। डर तो बहुत लगता है, और जिस तरह से आपको एक स्टेट में डाल देते हैं, आप समझ सकते हो कि आप भी ये काम करते हो, तो उस वक्त तो लगता है कि नहीं, वो चलना है, पूरी वो एनर्जी आसपास आपके पूरी फैली होती है। तो बस फिर आपने स्टेप लेना शुरू किया। हाँ। और फिर कूल मॉस करके 7-8 कदम के, जब मैंने वापस देखा, हाँ, तो अपने घर तो कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, क्रॉस हो गए। हाँ, तो क्रॉस हो गए तो हाँ। पर चले तो आग पे, देखा हाँ रियलिटी हो। हाँ। तो उसके बाद तो हम उछल कूद रहे थे वहां पे पागलों की तरह।
तो उस वक्त जो आग पे चलने में मतलब माइंड में एक था क्या, जल रहा था, कुछ फील हो रहा था, महसूस हो रहा था, या एक बस मोटिवेटेड माइंड था?
मिक्स था। फियर था, ऐसी बात नहीं कि फियर नहीं था। और एक वॉइस कह रहा था कि नहीं भाई ये क्या काम कर रहे हो,
ये नहीं करता।
जल जाओगे पैर तुमको। मान लो कि अभी 3 दिन यहाँ आना है, कौन तुम्हारे ध्यान रखेगा, ठीक है ना। फिर वापस न्यू कैसल भी जाना है, कॉलेज है, पार्ट, बहुत सारे ख्याल आते हैं दुनिया भर के, ठीक है ना। पर वो जैसे एक और फीलिंग थी कि नहीं भैया सब लोग कर रहे हैं, कुछ हो नहीं रहा है,
हम भी कर लेंगे।
हाँ, और एनर्जी फील हो रही है।
तो पैर में कौन सा केमिकल लगा था?
कुछ नहीं लगा हुआ था,
मोटिवेशन का।
मोटिवेशन का, इंस्पिरेशन का और ब्रेक थ्रू का।
ब्रेक थ्रू का।
हाँ, तो आई थिंक फायर वर्क करने के बाद बहुत मेजर ब्रेक थ्रू आया।
मैंने देखा है वो आप भी कराते हैं।
हाँ, क्योंकि वो कीड़ा लग जाता ना आपको,
हाँ हाँ, ये कराना है ये।
तो कीड़ा लग गया। फिर रिसर्च किया कि टोनी सिखाते कि नहीं सिखाते,
हाँ।
टोनी नहीं सिखाते। फिर और रिसर्च किया तो पता लगा टोनी के गुरुजी सिखाते हैं।
अच्छा।
वो यूएस में है, तो वहाँ तक पहुँचना अभी मुश्किल है क्योंकि स्टूडेंट वीज़ा है,
राइट।
तो यूएस कौन जाएगा। फिर उनका यूके डिपार्टमेंट निकाला, थोड़ा टाइम लग गया। फिर यूके डिपार्टमेंट निकाला तो समझ में आया कि अच्छा उनके ट्रेनर्स यहाँ करवाते हैं और सर्टिफिकेशन होती है, तो फिर की हमने। अच्छा, हम फुली सर्टिफाइड हैं।
अरे वाह,
और फायर वर्क सिखाते भी और करवाते भी।
अरे बहुत अच्छी बात। टोनी रॉबिन्स से आपकी मुलाकात भी हुई, तो वो मुलाकात सिर्फ एक महज मुलाकात थी या कुछ बातचीत भी कुछ शब्दों में हुई, या एक इंटरेक्शन था सिर्फ?
2-3 बार मिले।
अच्छा।
चंद पलों के लिए,
चंद पलों।
क्योंकि वो बहुत बिजी हैं।
हाँ।
तो पहली बार जब उनसे मिला तो वो एक इत्तेफाक था, एक फोटोग्राफर चाहिए था और हम स्टाफ में थे क्योंकि हमने वो कंपनी ज्वाइन कर रखी ना।
अच्छा। हाँ
तो हम बिजनेस मास्टरी प्रोग्राम है उनका,
हाँ हाँ।
तो उस पर हम हेल्प कर रहे थे।
अच्छा।
तो होता ना कि आप वो ढूंढते हैं कि सबसे अच्छा हमारा स्टाफ कौन सा, लाइक एक्टिव है, क्विक एजिलिटी है, काम जल्दी कर सकता है, अडेप्टेबिलिटी है, कम्युनिकेशन अच्छी है, प्रेजेंटेबल है, राइट। तो फिर उन्होंने हमें कैमरा पकड़ा दिया कि भाई ये कुछ प्रीमियम क्लाइंट्स हैं जो साइन अप कर रहे हैं, सबके तस्वीर ले लिया,
तस्वीरें ले लिया।
और मेक श्योर करना कि तस्वीर चेक करो कि रहे, क्योंकि देना होता है बाद में क्लाइंट को, बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं। तो हमने इस तस्वीर ली, करीबन कुछ होंगे आई थिंक 40-50 क्लाइंट जिन्होंने प्रीमियम मेंबरशिप ली होगी, राइट। और जो हमने सीखा था अपने लाइफ में ट्रेनर्स के साथ, ये कहते हैं रूल्स आर फॉर द मासेस, राइट, ठीक है ना, राइट। लॉ तो तोड़ नहीं रहे, रूल ही बेंड कर रहे हैं, रूल बेंड करनी चाहिए, लाइफ में पता होना चाहिए, राइट। लास्ट में हमने कहा कि भैया एक हमारे साथ भी हो जाए।
अभी तक हमने खींच लिया, अब थोड़ा खिंचवा भी लेते।
भाई पूछ रहे हैं क्या, ज्यादा ना हो जाए, यही तो सीखा था,
सही बात है।
ये सब सिखा रहे थे वो लोग। तब तक हम ऑलरेडी जर्नी पे थे, 2013 की बात है। तो हमने उनसे कहा, तो टोनी ने कोई एतराज नहीं किया, उन्होंने कहा आ जाओ आ जाओ। और तो उन्होंने हाथ अपना रखा, हमारे छाती पूरा भर गया और वक्त कम था, तो किसी को हमने कैमरा दिया, फट से फोटो खिंचवाई, वो आधे मिनट की मुलाकात होगी मुश्किल से।
अच्छा।
तो फोटो मिली नहीं वो, क्योंकि फोन लंबी थी। तो पहली मुलाकात थी।
अच्छा।
तो वो अनऑफिशियल। हाँ। फिर 2015 में हमारा नाम था लिस्ट में,
अच्छा।
क्योंकि हमने इतना काम कर चुका था धोनी के लिए, तो उन्होंने लिस्ट में हमारा नाम डाला और हमने जाहिर भी किया था कहीं पे दूसरे लोगों के साथ जो टीम में है कि भाई हमें भी मौका मिलना चाहिए। तो 2015 में एक हमारी टीम की मेंबर है, बहुत अच्छी हैं, गॉड ब्लेस हर, तो उन्होंने जिद करके हमारा नाम डलवाया कि भाई इतने प्रीव्यूज कर चुका है टोनी के, इतना बिजनेस ला के देता है, तो उसका नाम तो ऊपर रखना चाहिए, और आप लोग डाल ही नहीं रहे हो। तो उसने मेरा नाम डलवाया।
अरे।
तो मैं टोनी को मिला ऑफिशियली, हाँ, इवेंट के बाद। और देखो इस इंसान को आई थिंक 12-13 घंटे ऑलरेडी स्पीकिंग कर चुका था, रात के 10:30-11 बज रहे होंगे, हम बैक स्टेज मिले, करीबन 25-30 लोग थे, सबको उसने 2-2 मिनट दिए।
अच्छा।
तो मैंने टोनी के पैर छुए, जब मैंने छुआ तो उनको वो पता था कि ये कहाँ से आती है चीज़, क्योंकि उनका इंडिया में कुछ कनेक्शन है, और वो उनके बॉडीगार्ड रहते हैं आसपास 2-3, तो आपको थोड़ा बताना पड़ता है कि पहले मैं झुकूंगा भाई। आप झुके और उन्होंने उठा लिया आपको क्योंकि पता ही ना क्यों उनको करे हो भाई, वो तो अमेरिकन है, ठीक है ना, एटलीस्ट लग तो रहे हैं देख के, तो पहले उनको इंडिकेशन देना होता है कि भाई मैं ये हमारे कल्चर में है कि हम अपने गुरु की इज्जत करते हैं। तो टोनी को पता था, तो उसने ऑब्वियसली थोड़ी सी ब्लेसिंग दी, और फिर एक दो चीज़ें बात हुई कि बताया उन्होंने कि आपके लिए बहुत सारे प्रीव्यूज करता है ये, हर साल 500-600 लोग हम इनके थ्रू लेकर आते हैं। तो बस वो मुलाकात थी, वो वो थोड़ी ऑफिशियल थी, अच्छी थी जी। उन्होंने शुक्रिया किया, फिर बस वी मूव्ड ऑन। तो वो तस्वीर अगर आप देखोगे ना मेरी टोनी के साथ 2015 में, दाढ़ी थोड़ी निकली हुई है, क्योंकि 10-12 दिन बाद मेरी शादी है।
अच्छा।
हाँ, वो 30 मार्च था आई थिंक, या 31 मार्च, DPW खत्म हो रहा था, और उसके नेक्स्ट डे मैं फ्लाई आउट कर रहा था 1 अप्रैल को, 9 अप्रैल को मेरी शादी थी। तो पगड़ी बांधने के लिए थोड़ी दाढ़ी उगा रखी है, इसलिए वो पिक्चर में दाढ़ी है।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा। तो शादी से पहले शेव कराना है, नहीं कराना है?
दाढ़ी रखने से थोड़ी पगड़ी अच्छी बैठती है, जमती है आप पे। हाँ, तो वो एक होता ना, लाइक थोड़ा सिख में और पंजाबी में है कि दाढ़ी होगी अच्छी लगेगी, मैंडेटरी नहीं है।
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
हाँ, तो इसलिए दाढ़ी उगाई थी करीबन 1 महीने के लिए। हाँ, उसके बाद ऑब्वियसली शेप कर ली बात।
तो अभी अपने आप को मतलब आप कहाँ देख रहे हैं? मिस्टर अमनदीप थिन कहाँ खड़े हुए हैं अभी?
अभी तो मैं आपकी आंखों में देख रहा हूँ।
आंखों में मेरे क्या देख? जुनून है, जुनून है।
हाँ, चमक है, चमक कुछ कर जाने की, कहते हैं कि वो है ख्वाहिश है, ख्वाहिश कर ही रहे हैं आप,
कर रहे
ओढ़ रहे हैं।
हैं। आपसे सीख रहे हैं।
नहीं, ठीक है,
तो
हम सब सीख रहे हैं एक दूसरे से।
बिल्कुल। तो इंग्लिश में स्विच किया जाए कॉन्वर्जेशन को?
हाँ, बिल्कुल क्यों, तो थोड़ा 30 साल लग गए सर इंग्लिश सीखने में, तो कीजिए, शिफ्ट कीजिए।
क्योंकि हम तो मज़ा आएगा, क्योंकि आपका जो इंग्लिश है वो बहुत अच्छा है, सुनने में अच्छा लगता है, और ये कॉन्वर्जेशन को इंग्लिश में करेंगे तो थोड़ा जनता भी फुटेगी, मतलब मज़ा आएगा जनता को।
ठीक है, जैसा कहते हैं मार्केट की डिमांड वैसे करना चाहिए।
वैसे ही करते करिए। Now let me come to this official conversation and podcast. Like, you are a public speaking coach, right? So you have trained thousands of people, as I have also gone through your profiles and I've seen that. So what do you think about public speaking? And as we all know that it was a research, and I found that it was 77% glossophobia among Americans, and as well as in Indians and all the people. So what do you think about this glossophobia and fear of public speaking? How to remove it?
Fear about public speaking is a very natural thing for any human being to have. Okay. As per research, almost close to 90% people have some or the other, energy about fearful energy about public speaking.
Right.
So I think, first of all, identifying that it makes you human, it's a very good place to start. And then the way you can come out of speaking fear is by addressing your communication to group of people or to the audience.
Right.
From my research is that you must approach it from a point of view of having a conversation. Okay. Like, we all human beings talk to our friends, family members, cousin, brother, colleagues on a regular basis. Right? Only when our brain knows that I am actually facing people, whether it's a pedestal or physical stage, or anyways, it's not a stage, but you're standing in front, maybe 10 people, 100 people, 200 people, or
Right.
10,000 people. Right. So our brain takes us to this zone, which I'm sure you're familiar with the kind of work you do, very similar to mine. It's called flight and fight mode.
Right.
And it is designed for human beings to survive. It's a very powerful blessing God has, inbuilt in our brain. Now, when we lived in jungles many thousand years back, if a tiger or tigress came, either we will fight at a power we never showed before, or we will run at a speed we never showed before.
Right.
Some element of that energy of cave person mentality is still in our subconscious deep down brain. So when we face audience, for most people, your brain takes us to that zone, that there is danger in my life. And whenever there will be a danger in your life, no matter how much you prepare, no matter how much you want to talk about other things, no matter how much you want to plan other things, your brain will leave all those priorities, and protecting your life will become the biggest priority. So that's why people get blank moments. That's why people get a lot of fumbling in their speaking. Even people, some get to the level where they can get panic attack. Their legs starts trembling. They can't control it,
Right.
because the fear has kicked in so much, because the brain is saying, you're about to die. So you must do something to run away from this space, or you need to fight these people in front of you.
Right.
So that's where it takes you into that zone. But I believe, and I have seen this now and then by working with so many people,
Right.
that if you approach this as not a performance, which most people think,
Right.
and yes, I would not disagree, 20-30% of what you do,
Right.
how you do, when you do, where you do, can be related to performance.
Okay.
But 70% of, as a trainer, as a teacher, as a speaker, as a communicator, as an orator, what you do is all about inspiring people. It's all about motivating people. It's all about transforming them.
Right.
It's about infusing a new idea,
Right.
a new knowledge inside them.
Right.
So that is conversation. Now, I don't want people to mistake this as a chit chat, like I will do with my wife in the living room or with my parents on FaceTime. It's a value adding conversation.
Value-adding conversation.
And something which needs to have structure, and you need to really prepare well for it. So it's a prepared, structured, value-adding conversation.
Prepare structure, value-added conversation. Okay.
And if you put that approach, your heart will have 1% ease. And they कहते हैं ना कि every journey begins with a single step. So 1% of ease is great to build on. And the more you will build on that conversation, the more ease will come to you. It's like, building those brain muscles.
Right.
So 15 years back, I remember doing one of the programs where my legs were shaking. I went to reach out to the water because I became thirsty within 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
Because I was putting so much of pressure on, when your body tightens up, you feel more thirsty. So when I reached out to the water, because of my shakiness, it all spilled over. And some people sitting in the front, they were looking at me like this, that if you fall, I should know, because they can see you, like you're shaken. So they're like, if you fall, I need to dodge myself. So from there to here, it's all about building the brain muscles and approaching it as a conversation rather than looking at it as a performance.
Let me be very straightforward. Like you conduct 1 day or 2 days workshop, right? So especially when the people come to your workshop, they have fear in this public speaking, like they can't present themselves on the stage. They have tonality issue. They have somewhere organized thoughts issues and a lot of issues they are facing. Do you think, do you assure those attendees that you can just make them master in this 1 day workshop? And how do you do that? I just want to know.
I think every learning of any skill has to begin at the foundation level.
Right.
Even the building we are in right now, I'm sure when they started making this building, they went at least maybe, I don't know, 2 meters, 3 meters down, right?
Yeah, yes.
And it was not a very amazing scene. It was all muddy, all dirty, a lot of work. Maybe some big stone came on the passage, but they broke it down, drilled it through, and then laid a great foundation.
Right.
So the same, is with the 1 day program. The 1 day program equips you to understand that I have to start my foundation. It gives you something called an awareness point. Like, we use Google Map to reach a destination we don't know how to reach, but Google helps us.
Right.
But Google cannot help us without the awareness of the starting point.
Fact.
So the 1 day program, helps you to become more aware. And it also tells you, how you can reach to the final destination.
Right.
Does it makes people reach the final destination straight away? Maybe for not a lot number of people.
Right.
For a few, because they already have a level.
Right.
They get that at a different level.
This is a clarity. This is a clarity. Yeah. That's what is required, I think. And this is a clarity, and you are being very honest, I could say, and loyal. You have what you have disclosed, I think. It may somehow affect our business models, like me too, do that. And you do that, and we get inspired through that. And here I want to understand, like language versus public speaking. Like I think before that, as you said, that you did not know Punjabi. When you went to Punjab, the bus was there, but you did not be aware of that bus. And somewhere you did not know English language because you were graduated or studied from Hindi medium schools and Bengali medium schools. What is connection, or is it interconnected, language and public speaking? If I have good accuracy in language, can I claim myself as a good public speaker? Or when can I claim myself as a good public speaker?
If I understand your question correctly, maybe it's on the lines, of that is English mandatory for becoming a great public speaker. And the question is only relevant for countries like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or let's say mostly Asian countries. I had the blessing, to go to Germany, Sweden, Romania, and I saw some great speakers in local language. I literally came back from Germany last month.
Okay.
There's a festival they do. It's a personal development festival. And there were only, I think in my understanding, 2 English speakers. It was Sadhguru and me. In my understanding,
Okay.
I think 90% of the speakers were all German speakers.
Okay.
Or at least they spoke that language. If they're not German by origin, birth, but they could speak that language. And I think, they're doing a great job. I couldn't understand the words, but I could feel the energy and the non-verbal communication, So coming back from the world I come from, becoming a great public speaker.
Okay.
And plus, if you are great in English, or as a matter of fact, in any language, it doesn't guarantees that you'll become a great public speaker. It's an added advantage, you have. Now, coming from a country like India, English is not a language. English is status symbol. English is personality. English is lifestyle, and many more. And thanks to the Britishers, they infused that in us. We're still living some of that. So I would not disagree that you must not work on your English. You must improve it because it is the need of the hour. So you can't just ignore it completely. Okay. Having said that, English is not mandatory for becoming a great public speaker. If you speak any language, German, Spanish, Tamil, Telugu, Punjabi, Bengali, Vietnamese, you just you need to know how to articulate that
Right.
in your language in a very effective, powerful way. And that will help you to be seen or perceived or conceived or received as a great public speaker.
Great, amazing. As you talked about your Germany's trip, and you went there, people were just communicating in their local languages, and they were well and accurate and great public speakers. I want to understand that how to develop this non-verbal communication skill, how to develop this body language actually, and how much importance it plays in our communication and public speaking.
I think non-verbal, is a complete, deep word in itself. Just to add a little bit based on the context of where we are in this podcast, some people think, body language is nonverbal. Body language is quite a big chunk of nonverbal,
Right.
but there is a lot more to nonverbal communication. Right. And we human beings are always speaking, even without speaking a single word.
Fact.
So if you're aware of certain few things, it can definitely, give you an extra advantage when it comes to conducting yourself as a speaker, as a communicator in front of people. Just to give one little tip here,
Right.
or maybe two, let's say, sure, bonus, because Indians love bonus. First, something you can do, and it's not something you have to do a lot of work in, is to give eye contact. They say our eyes are the window to our soul. So if we can give eye contact to people, it really moves and shakes them.
Right.
It's like I'm opening up my soul to let your soul and go we are equal.
Right.
Now, obviously, when you're on a virtual platform, what you do is, you look into the lenses of the camera. Because when I look into the lenses of the camera, the person listening to me right now would feel like, oh God, Amandeep is giving me an eye contact.
Right.
The same thing will change slightly in a physical room. You will give an eye contact to the person sitting in front of you. Okay. Now, the second thing I can tell you again quickly, I know, bonus. As we lived in jungles many thousand years back, we still carry some elements of cave person mentality.
Right.
Now, when some new person came towards me or in my reality, anywhere, even far, the only way I would gauge or understand if the person is a friend or enemy by looking at their arms. If they have arms hidden or clawed up, then there is a chance, high chance that you might attack on me, that you're an enemy.
Right.
But if on the other side, if I open up my arm in one or two, in whatever ways, even if I'm giving a handshake, if it's a kind of open handshake, it is still powerful.
Right.
So open palm, open arms is a non-verbal communication that you're a friend, that I can come towards you,
Right.
or I can listen to you,
Right.
or I can be with you.
Right.
On the other side, not intentional, but if you're just not showing your palm openly, there could be a non-verbal message like if you're hiding something, maybe you don't mean the best for me, something on those lines.
Right.
So yeah, opening, and if you, maybe, people, if you're listening, if you're listening right now, and if you're very interested in public speaking, the first thing people notice about you, whether they know it or not, subconsciously, is your arms. Yeah, when you're on stage. So opening up your palm, either one or both of them, it's in your safer bet when you're facing the audience at the very beginning. So we have techniques, which we use,
Right.
but we have a way of showing the open arms in the first 3 to 5 seconds.
One more tip as a bonus, as Indians love bonus. So when we go on the stage as a public speaker, as a coach, as a trainer, how to greet or how to just, that first sentence, what arms should we use? What palm should we use? What body language should we use? Like I go and I do sometimes like this or I do like this. So what Mr. Amandeep Thin does and what is his advice for those people who want to do?
The first thing we do, has quite a few layers to it.
Okay.
And I don't know how far I can go with this. Every human being, who comes to learn and listen from you, they come for their own reason.
Right.
They don't come because, Muhammad is like a most amazing giving guy. And every day, he gives 5,000 biryanis complimentary to people, right? Or they don't come, to see Amandeep because he's the most handsome, Indian speaker you can ever come across.
Right.
They come for their own reason. And I think you must be familiar with it. When I say it, probably it will take your brain to that world. There's a term called WIIFM. WIIFF. And this is the question everybody is scanning in their brain, even if they don't know consciously, but subconsciously, deep down, it is happening in their world. And it is called, what is in it for me? We are so selfish that they've done a research. If a mother or a child is drowning,
or you're drowning in the water with your loved ones, just for a nanosecond, as an instinct, you might like to put your hand on your loved one's head or somewhere and come above the water. It's only the second moment when I realize it's my baby, it's my brother, it's my sister, I might let go. Might. Is that not a guarantee? So our selfishness is already inbuilt in our system. And we must be proud of it, we must accept it, and we must celebrate it.
Right.
So every human being is there asking, kya milega? What will I get, if I listen to you? If I give you 2 hours of my life, if I give you 1 day of my life, if I give you 4 days of my life, what will I get in return in exchange? And I think in our research, we believe that if you can give that in the very, very beginning, it's a much safer bet. Right. 99% time, it works very well. We call it the BRQ, benefit revealing questions.
So benefit revealing question.
Yeah. And we do 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah. We give it in the very, very beginning. And then we go on to the agenda. My name is this. Welcome to the program. All that we do. Our first thing to do, always in any program, pretty much. When I went to Germany, I did the same thing.
Okay.
When I went to Sweden, I did the same thing. Australia, I did the same thing, which is I started with 2 benefit revealing questions.
Okay.
So first you ask questions. Yeah, this is like you revealing the benefit. Like as an example would be, how many of you here, you want to be more happy in your life by show of hands? Now I'm raising my hand. So another layer of nonverbal, opening up arms, become friendly. Like when you drive a car, you're doing 5 things together. So there are layers to it, but in the beginning you have hiccups. But as you train, as you practice, it becomes part of you.
Right.
Now people not only drive the car, they change music, they talk to friends, right? And some are a bit cheesy, they take phone calls.
Do you do that?
No, not at all. Because you can't. If you do that in London, you would be in trouble. Yeah, in most cases. Some cases you might not be looked into. Like my neighbor, his license might get cancelled. He's got 12 points because he's using phone.
They capture. They're fine.
Okay, so interesting conversation. It's, I think, amazing conversation. And it's amazing conversation of my life because I have done so many podcasts, but this podcast is going to be one of my favorite podcasts. And now let me highlight a few points. Like Mr. Amandeep is on the stage and he is greeting on the stage to thousands of people sitting in the auditorium, he's standing in the auditorium. What is his body language? Like I want to understand. Like I go and I say, hello everybody, good morning. And what does Mr. Amandeep think do? I think what you do is pretty powerful also. With whatever I picked up in the way you did it.
Right.
It's called opening up.
Okay, opening up.
Yeah. Like, if our relatives, friends, colleagues, associates, if they come to our house, right? The first thing you would do, like in any language, right? You would say, welcome.
All right.
Or you would say, आओ जी, जी आए जी. Or you would say, आइए ना, स्वागत है आपका. Yeah, for Bengali, में आशुन. No, right. Doesn't matter what the language is, the gesture is opening, right? Now, if you go like, that's not something, naturally I would do, right?
Right.
The same happens, in pretty much days as well. So I think you doing this is powerful because, you're opening up, saying, you know what, I'm here to serve, I'm here to give, I'm here to deliver value. I think that's what is powerful. So yeah, anything to do with opening up your body and then you're standing in your power position, okay? Upright is going to be, again, powerful. And then, giving eye contact is powerful. Having, if possible, in the beginning it's difficult, but as you train, you become more powerful. If you can have a bit of a smile, because they say smile is the universal language for compassion, kindness, and many more things. Right. So those things are the kind of body language I would do or use when I'm on stage.
Okay.
And obviously, because I do BRQ, so within 5 to 10 seconds, my one hand goes up.
Okay.
So it goes up all the way up.
Okay.
Because if I want my audience to do something at this level, I have to play at this level.
Okay.
If I do here, it's not wrong. It's just that, I would get maybe 2% less buying in.
Right.
People will be here.
Right.
So as the leader, as a role model, your job is to play at the maximum level. And then you will have people, playing at this level.
Right.
Because you can't transfer anything you don't have. You can only transfer what you have. So you have to be one of those people in your style. It's not that you have to jump up and down. If you look at some trainers, or speakers, or spiritual teachers, they don't jump up and down like some other trainers do, but they still can mesmerize and captivate. So it's all about, being upright, having that intention to serve, a bit of a smile. And then if you can open up your arms as the way your posture is, if you're doing it in a sitting way, that also would help, So anything to do with opening up, welcoming, and the intention to serve is possible. I have picked up one thing out of your training, right? I have seen I have seen the stick is there, right? So the stick to the neck you touch, and I want to understand that what is that technique, and if you could reveal it because it's part of your workshop. So what is that? I want to understand, and what is the reason behind that?
Okay, I think you're referring to something called an arrow breaking exercise.
Okay, arrow break.
Yeah, we have metal pointed arrow, which people break by putting it on their throat. That metal pointed arrow has the power to go through a can, and if you pierce it hard, it can even get through your muscle. If you pierce it hard, depending on what speed and momentum you bring it, right? So people put it on their throat here and they break it. It's arrow breaking exercise.
Okay.
It's a metaphor. Just like firework is a metaphor, breaking a board with your hands is a metaphor. Bending a rod, metal rod with two people involved is a metaphor. So same, arrow breaking exercise is a metaphor, which is like if I can walk on fire, if I can break a metal pointed arrow, if I can break a wooden board with my bare hands, then what else can I achieve in my life? So it infuses the belief, the confidence, the conviction, the power in somebody's mind. Go like, what? I can walk on glass, broken glasses. So maybe, I can do a lot of great things.
Right.
Just like I walked on fire,
Right.
and I felt unstoppable.
Yeah, great. Amazing. So it's like internal motivation, like it gives internal motivation and then inspiration to do something wonderful and great and to have a belief and faith system.
You can say that, like any belief stands on reference points, minimum 3. Sometimes it'll be 4. Like, any chair, any table, any stool, it has got legs. So your disbelief stands on certain legs. And the same is for belief. So when you do a glass work or a rod bending exercise or arrow breaking exercise, it actually gives you that 1 or 2 legs of belief, of high self-esteem, or let's say trusting yourself with going for the job interview,
Right.
or going to that boardroom meeting, or going for that webinar. So coming back, yes, very much similar, that it infuses the power for one person to start owning the presence you have, to start owning the human you are, to start believing that you've been sent for a purpose. There was no mistake when God made you. When Allah, Vaheguru, Jesus designed you, there was a purpose behind it. So you start owning that purpose, you start getting more aligned with who you are, and that's where the magic unfolds.
Great. Amazing. These points even are shaking me completely internally. And okay, now I want to come from monotony to a fascinating public speaker or a trainer or a coach, because I've seen and observed so many people that when they are on the stage, like people are sleeping their backs side, or people are taking on, people are using their phone, people are ignoring them. So I do feel sometimes very pity for them, that why is it happening with them, because they are trying their best. So what Mr. Amandeep can do for them and what he wants to actually deliver them, that, oh, please don't do it, because through it, you will be always monotonous, and through this path, you will be an interesting and fascinating speaker and public speaker.
We Asians, most of us, we are much more left brain oriented people because our survival is tough.
Right.
So we get very much programmed the early days, work hard, study hard, get a job, buy a house, get married, have kids. And that's the best thing you can do. And it's not bad, it's very powerful. But it's not the end of the world in life.
Right.
Now, I'm sure listeners would understand, because I have farming background. Half of me is just sick, as of my dad.
Okay.
Yeah. And even if somebody doesn't do farming, they understand, maybe, I'm sure they would.
Yes.
If you have a land, right, and if you do not prepare the soil, and if you drop a seed,
Right.
nothing would happen.
Nothing would.
So your job is to first prepare the soil. And for that, it takes effort.
Right.
And then when you drop a seed and nurture it with water, sunlight, and maybe, fertilizer, it will pop up,
right.
sapling, and then plant, and then it'll give you fruits or grains or whatever that is. The same is for public speaking as well. What I feel or I've seen in my research is a bit more in this part of the world compared to Western world, where my home is, London. It is there also, but maybe a little bit less.
Just about this.
That a lot of these trainers, speakers, coaches, they're not being trained at that level maybe, or maybe they're trained, but maybe they don't see the significance or importance in doing it.
Right.
They don't prepare the audience before they start
Right.
delivering powerful message.
Right.
Like if you look at this big trainer, I've already named him, but I'm not naming him now,
Right,
but
right.
he's very tall. He's
Exactly.
got a husky voice.
Exactly.
he makes the highest amount of money as a trainer. So if you want a reference point that, oh, will this work? Well, then look at him. You're looking at $10-12 million getting raised over 4 days, because I've seen it from behind the scene. I personally charged a machine left and right, like payment machine. So coming back, he really puts people at that state before he takes them through any kind of journey. And most great trainers, they are great because they prepare the soil. So it's something called, we have in our program, prep up the audience, which means, infuse that state in them.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, we use music,
Right.
and we pre-frame them why we're doing it. And we do it to the level where it is needed for them to just get into a certain state.
Right.
So that, I think, would help. Depending on where you are, even in a boardroom meeting, it can be done. A bit of a clapping, bit of a high five, state changes, right? So that the soil is a bit prepared.
Right.
They had a heavy breakfast and you start speaking straight away. They're like, it's not their fault. You have to prepare the brain to that level, a better state.
Whose fault is there?
Well, to be honest, in my world, they say there is no bad students.
Okay.
There is no bad teachers.
Okay.
But
Cool.
we also I have to identify that somebody is a student. Student is somebody who's kind of surrendered.
Right.
His ego, her ego,
Right.
and is willing to learn.
Right.
Somebody's just watching you is not a student.
Right.
So coming back, there's no bad students, only bad teachers. So coming back, if you prepare the state, that it'll give you power.
Right.
Now coming back from trainer's point of view, I think it's about being with the message you want to share.
Okay. Being with the message.
Being with the message. In my journey of 15 years of speaking and doing 1,000 workshops in 25 plus countries, I think the more you will be in tuned and the more you will be present, your tonality will come, at least to some degree. You cannot be doing something like, I'm depressed, I'm sad, Mohammed.
Right.
On the other side, some people might manage it, but 99% people cannot do this where they can't go like,
Right.
I am
Sad. Happy. Right.
I am excited. So it's given to you naturally. Like, if you go to some place where that has happened, right? You naturally,
Feel it or
your voice tonality tenses down. When you're, doing some kind of condolences with somebody, you go like, oh, it's so sad to see, your uncle passed away. You go like, yeah, it's really sad.
right.
Sorry for your loss, right? On the other side, if you go to a party or a birthday, whatever, you can't go like, you naturally will say, happy birthday, man, see you. So it's about, I think in my understanding, and again, I'm not an expert of elocutions. I think if somebody is listening and looking for more help, they must go to an elocution expert or a voice and accent trainer. But just from my world, if you feel of what you're sharing, in most cases, your tonality will play. And there are only 3, notches in 3 pitches in total.
Okay.
There is something called you go up whenever anything to do with excitement, happiness, or like empowerment or better things coming in your life. Okay. Then you speak in your neutral tone. For me, it's naturally loud.
Right.
Okay? Some may have a soft voice and it's good. And then if you talk about anything to do with like vulnerable moments, sad moments, emotional things, then it's most cases is going to have a softer tone, a bit of a lower volume. Just those are the 3 things.
I've highlighted tonality. I think it's a very interesting point in public speaking, as I have also seen and observed. So how to develop this tonality? Should we understand the emotions behind each and every word, each and every context of the speaking? Or should we just, speak as somebody is speaking? Should we learn it through imitating? Like Mr. Abdullah is speaking, Mr. Amandeep is speaking. Okay, he's speaking like that. We should speak like that. Or should we have great and deeper understanding of emotions or emotional context?
This question is very deep. It has got many layers to it. The only thing I can share very quickly, celebrate. Okay. Accept. Acknowledge who you are. I think you shared somewhere on the lines that when they see somebody as a role model, shall they imitate to be like them? The true answer is no. Yes, there are quite a few trainers, who imitate other trainers or their teachers or trainers directly the way they are.
Right.
I don't recommend that. It's not going to help you.
Okay.
And the reason is you cannot be anybody. Like if you tell me to become, let's say, Amitabh Bachchan, can I become Amitabh Bachchan? No. I can do a little bit, hi, Dheeranath Chauhan, hi. But that doesn't make me Amitabh Bachchan, right? If you tell me to become Shah Rukh Khan, can I become? If you tell me to become Virat Kohli, can I become? No. So why make all those efforts to be somebody? Well, there is something called modeling in NLP. It is different than copying. Yeah, I can be inspired by somebody's style, somebody's delivery way, something they do, and I can bring that in my essence, my energy, my style. And I can put, a series of flowers together to make it my bouquet to give it to the world. Okay. Because we don't have the power, end of the day, to create anything. So why fuss about it? Yes, I picked up something from here and I tweaked it, modeled it, made it different. I picked up something from here, and I put a lot of work into it, and I churned it, and I made my unique thing. That's my uniqueness for the world, and my uniqueness is who I am, and my background, my tonality, my height, my skin tone, everything. Even for twin sisters, they're not same.
Right.
Yeah, they probably were born in very similar moments, same parents, similar kind of culture, but they're still different human beings. So I think we must celebrate, acknowledge, and accept the differences and the uniqueness we bring as human beings.
Right.
That's where it becomes more powerful. In my research and my understanding, I have done a few things in the past. 15 years back, I wanted to be like somebody. And the more effort I put into becoming somebody, the more I was drained, the more I was frustrated, the more I was angry, and the more I was too far away from serving people.
Right.
So I think
We should not.
Ideally, no.
We should not. Okay. You have also connection with music, I think, right? And music is somewhere very much connected to this tonality part. Hum tere bin, and then it comes down, it goes up, it comes down, it comes mediocre. So I want to understand and I want to listen few lines from you. That how do you?
Are you inviting me to sing?
Sure. Because tonality will be defined with the help of this, musical part.
I think music connects every human being. There's no human being who doesn't connect to music.
Right.
They may have their own style of music. So yeah, we are a big believer of bringing music to our training, to our speaking. It just triggers certain emotions in people. And I think what are you referring in terms of the melody?
Yeah.
I think the biggest melody comes from a human's voice or his or her vocal cords,
Of course.
with a background intention to serve. If I don't have love in my heart, true love, I think the melody will struggle. But if I have true love in my heart to serve, and maybe some people may not be able to see it, feel it, because of their own restricted world,
Right.
We shouldn't be focusing on them. We should be focusing on 70, 80%, 60%, even 51%
Right.
of the majority who can benefit from our teachings, from our learnings, from our experiences. So that's what I would say. I think the best melody comes from the intention to serve and having that love in your heart to give to people. Like, one of my mentors says, again, he's a big man, tall man. He says, every time you get up, give much more than people will expect from you. Yeah. And I think he lives by that. I've seen him quite a few times. I work towards getting close. I'm not perfect, and I can never ever be perfect. But yes, I know that I have love in my heart. I have intention to serve, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that person who's turned up in my space, in my room, in my training, with the hope to become better, that I leave them minimum 2% better than where I found them in the morning or afternoon or in the beginning of my webinar.
Great.
So I think
It's inspiring, by the way, but you have escaped and played very safe.
नहीं ठीक है, गाने तो मैं गा सकता हूँ, पर मैं सोच रहा हूँ क्या गाऊं कैसे।
हाँ, हिंदी, पंजाबी, बंगाली।
चलिए, अभी मेरे लाइफ में 2 ब्यूटीफुल प्रिंसेस हैं, वैसे और बहुत सारी हैं टीम में भी।
हाँ, बिल्कुल।
2 मेरी एल्डर डॉटर मुस्कान है, 7.5 साल की हो जाएगी अगले हफ्ते, और मेरी यंगर उसका वो 1.5 साल की हो जाएगी नेक्स्ट वीक। और तबगुन। हाँ, तो आई थिंक एक गाना है जो बहुत प्यारा है, पर वही है ना, फिर वो आपको नॉस्टैल्जिक भी तो करता है ना। तेरा मुझसे है पहले से नाता कोई, यूं ही नहीं दिल लुभाता कोई।
Amazing.
थैंक यू।
Amazing.
इसी वाला जाऊंगा तो फिर
नहीं, हाँ, it will go nostalgic, yes. So, okay, anyway, you have talked about Nada and Rishta, and I think somewhere your heart got melted because of your daughter's wife, and you love your family. I have seen that. And the way you talk also, you love your family, you shower your love. So I want to understand that how this professionalism and personal life, how do you balance it? And what is your message for those people who are like, I have seen in metro people, coming from their job and offices, they're like, what the hell? They go to their families, they start abusing, they start scolding, they start fighting and arguing. I want to understand, how do you balance actually? It's out of the topic, out of the context wise.
I think nothing is out of context. Everything is
And
a part of us. So yeah, I think I read something very powerful that when you're hurt and you haven't done anything to heal yourself, um, you will hurt others, at the wrong places. So it's like the old baggage we're carrying, where we have seen frustrated humans in the family. So coming back, I think the question, if I stick to it, you said you had seen people maybe in the metros, which we call tube, by the way. That's a tube. Tube is same for metro.
okay.
Yeah. And yes, people come out of the job maybe around 7, 8 o'clock, and they go like, what the F is my life?
Exactly.
And when this is going to change? And then, they change a job or they start a business. And for a few days to a few weeks, things look good because external change helps you.
Right.
But then they go back to similar problems again.
Right.
I've seen, people change partners, like maybe not married mostly, or maybe also married, who knows. They go back to similar fights again with new partners. People like me change countries to multiply 1 is equal to 100. Couldn't get a job for the first few months. Couldn't understand the accent. Will put the phone down.
Right.
So coming back, no matter how many partners we change, no matter how many jobs we change, no matter how many business we change, if we do not work to find out who we are, truly who we are, and connect with the higher source and align, maybe not completely, because we have a lot of problems,
Right.
greed, anger, jealousy,
Right.
lot of things in us.
Right.
We are work in progress, all of us.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. It just maybe somebody is 1 step ahead or 2 step ahead. So yeah, the more we align ourselves to the source, to where we belong, I think the journey becomes more powerful. And I think most of us, because of the selfish nature we have, I think even if we don't want, like I have the awareness, we ask, what can I get? I think if we shift the question and say, what can I give? Maybe a lot can come in our way.
Right.
And I think if you want to live your passion, you want to live your purpose, and you really want to change your controllable circumstances, some you cannot. Like I used to think, I should have a different parents. Yeah, when Marwari kids used to be getting dropped, in their lavish cars, you used to think, parents यार मारवाड़ी होने चाहिए,
सही बात है.
अग्रवाल और केडियाज
होने चाहिए थे, है ना? कहीं और पैदा होना चाहिए.
क्या बड़े बड़े गाड़ी आ रहे हैं, हमको देखो पैदल चल रहे, पसीना आ रहा है, बैग देखो हमारा. फिर अभी क्या लगता है, भाई अच्छा हुआ है. अभी बिल्कुल अच्छा लगता है, because if it was not for my struggles and pain, I would not be the human I am today. So I would not change anything, or rather I will ask for a little bit more, not too much, but a little bit more.
Right.
So whatever you want to call it, right? जो भी आप उसको बुलाते हैं in your world, it doesn't matter. There's a price tag to it, and if you're not willing to pay the price, it's very difficult. I would like to say impossible, but let's say put it's very difficult.
Right.
अगर मान लो आ भी गया आपके पास, let's say you got it, like, you got big stages, whatever that, you wanted to do, and you put no efforts in it. Would you feel a sense of achievement?
No.
Would you have that sense of fulfillment?
Not at all.
So the fun is in doing it. The fun is in, getting up and knowing there will be hiccups, knowing that, it will not go as per your plan. It's knowing that, you have to be the one taking, everything with you and still moving forward. And that's where the journey becomes powerful.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So most people who are fighting with their partners, or anybody, as a matter of fact, the truth, I'm not saying that I'm not that person who doesn't do it sometimes.
Right.
They're fighting with their own self. They are angry with their own self. They're frustrated with their own self. And that's what they're projecting on the world outside.
It's a personal question. What tonality do you use when you just say, I love you to your wife?
Are you not planning to do this podcast publicly?
It's gonna be public. But it's gonna be a life lesson for others who want to just use this sentence.
Interestingly, I'll tell you something. You asked this question. I think very few times I've told my wife I love you.
Okay.
Maybe it's Asian men, right? But having said that, there are 5 languages of love.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the languages is service.
Service.
I think a lot of Asian people or men would have a higher language of service compared to language of words. Gifts, yes, I do bring. I make it a point. I think I do maybe a little bit more by the feedback I get.
Right.
Hugs, we're average because I come from a very non-hugging family.
Okay.
Yeah. I brought that into my family to some extent. But we're average, I would say.
Okay.
But I think the service, maybe my wife can vouch for it. I probably, would keep my dharandaru. Yeah, like, if 2 o'clock my baby is crying, I think most days I'll get up. If it's not an event day. Event days, I stay away from family, even if I'm in the same city, 99% time I'll stay at a hotel to be fully present the next day. Like, this Delhi event we're doing, I'll be staying at a hotel the event day before.
Right.
So coming back here, I'll help her out, with the child. If she's doing something in terms of work, I don't fuss about my food. I just
Amazing.
pull out, eat myself. Anyways, I eat less most days. So I think that's my way of saying I love you. So yeah,
These are big lessons that you're giving to each and every one. Rick. When your baby cries at 2 a.m., you wake up.
if I do wake up, not always, maybe
Not always.
depending on at what range it goes.
Right.
But if it goes to a certain range, like just literally some days back only,
Right.
it's a very recent experience. So I woke up, I did the support I can. I help in the kitchen, in the daily chores or whatever they call it.
Whatever the part.
And I only do maybe 20-30%, maximum. They do a lot, they run the family, they take care of your kids, they take care of your parents.
Right.
And then love and respect, for her parents,
Right.
and then dignity, for the person, she is. And if she wants to do something, she doesn't need my permission, but she anyways keeps asking me.
Okay.
That's her love and respect for me.
Right.
But I tell her, just do whatever you want to do.
Indirectly, you have expressed your deep love for your wife.
Oh, is it?
It is. This clip, this reel, we will cut and send it to your wife personally.
Okay.
Okay, coming back to the public speaking, as you are, I think, full-time public speaking coach and trainer. I have also walked on the same path, or I have started walking on the same path, but have been doing it for last 13 years when I was in class 9th. So what do you suggest to those people, like who watch you, me, other trainers, coaches, public speakers, then they feel like, okay, let's make it a full-time plan. Let's start walking on the same path as all the great speakers are walking. What do you think on these plans and decisions?
I think the quick answer is everything is possible.
Okay.
Yeah, if you believe that you can do it, you can. And as I already mentioned, there's a price tag. The question is, are you willing to pay that price?
Right.
I highly recommend, which some of the trainings in the world, people recommend that, there's a term, which has become famous in the last few years, even in this part of the world, which is just over broke. Job is just over broke. Yeah, I don't think that way. I think if you're an Indian or a nation, if you're a family man or a family woman, you have kids to look after. You're a mama, you're a taya, you're a chachu,
Right.
you're a masi, you're a bua. All that will play into the account.
Right.
So you can't just literally go like, oh, I'm leaving my job, I'm going to live my passion and everything is going to work out. And I pray and hope that it works out for you.
Right.
God bless you. And I'm very happy for you. But for 99% people, it's not going to work out.
Right.
So just to give you from my experiences, life's experiences, I was an expat in UK in 2006. So I went to UK as a student. I studied, then I got job. So I always had to, do a job for many years of my life. I couldn't go like, I'm leaving my job. I did that for a while and I went broke. Then I went back to the job. There was a chance that if I did not do that, I would have never lived my passion and we would not be doing this podcast today. People get burned and then they never come back to their dreams and passion or purpose.
Right.
So 2007, I decided that I want to become a trainer and speaker at Tony's event. Then I went on a research mode for 2 years or so, like 1.5, 2 years. I did a lot of different trainings, from Cambridge University to Coaching Academy to a lot of other top trainers and speakers, programs I've done. So I still do. Every year I have 2 or 3 different trainings I attend to become better. I was in a part-time job till 2009, and from 10 onwards, I kept on a payroll for 7 years.
Okay.
I was blessed to be in an industry where I was on a payroll, but still working for a company where they did something I wanted to do in future.
Right.
I was not given stage straight away.
Yeah.
I was made to do all the odd jobs, from lifting up, book boxes, to running the AV cables, to bringing water for the speaker, to managing logistics. I know pretty much everything about events. I knew it. I've gone past that stage, I have left few things. I've forgotten a little bit, but if given, I get into a situation, I can still manage it. So I know pretty much everything about running events, and I got paid for it. I think it was a blessing. I couldn't see it straight away that way, that I got paid to become better. What can you ask for? And maybe that was my destiny, my karma, whatever you want to call it. So coming back 7 years, I stayed on a payroll, and on the side, I was getting better. And I did a few part-time things here and there. And then it was only in 2017 when I said bye-bye to my full-time job, and I ventured out in becoming a full-time speaker. So if anybody's listening and you love this content creation economy, you love to see those podcasts and visualize yourself in those podcasts, I think it's a great thing you're doing. The next step is all about planning it in a powerful way. Job is not just our broke. Job is a way to fulfill your dreams. I'm not saying stay in a job where it is like you wake up and your soul gets ripped apart, like, oh God, the same boss, oh God, the same colleague, oh God, the same office. Then do something to change that job.
Right.
Any job you will go, there'll be a few things not as per your interest or the kind of person you are. But 70%, it's workable, doable, not so bad. Stick around. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and on the side, build it part-time. Yeah.
Right.
And then maybe after 4, 5, 6, 7 years, if you can make 30% minimum, let's say, of your salary, then maybe you can say, you know what, I'll go full up.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a much powerful bet of you living your passion or purpose than you leaving your job and going boom, into your passion. You'll be burned so hard that there are very high chances you may not come back. And let's say, even if you do, in some cases, depending, on the generation we have now, you may not have that level of sense of achievement or sense of fulfillment. If it was somebody like a parent or uncle or auntie who has been, funding you for so many years, I might be wrong, personally, I think you would not get that level of sense of achievement. It has to be you, feeling it, that 80% of what I achieved has been my effort, my work, and I did my, good planning to get to the level where I am.
Right. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much to, give so many inspiring lines, and I think these are going to give a lot of goosebumps to these, viewers, and they're gonna just be fascinated completely. I want to ask one more question, last but not least, for this public speaking. Like, we have talked about tonality, nonverbal communication, we have talked so many other factors, but I want to understand on expression, expression, as you said that, oh, Abdullah, like you said that expression, that was like, quite deeper and deeper. So I want to understand how to develop this great and emphasizing expression.
We do a chunk in our 4 days advanced training. And one of my trainers come. I mean, he looks like me, but he's not me. Okay. Yeah. And he does a very good job. I think my team loves him. His name is Dr. Hasidas.
Dr. Hasidas.
Yeah. He comes with a certain style. Okay. And he teaches people facial expression.
Okay.
A lot of Asians, I think they because of the programming and conditioning we go through, and the survival is so tough, we have lost the charm of, using our facial expressions. There is so much we can express through our face.
Right.
And they say our eyes speak. And I believe you will have some memory and experiences. If not you indulging directly, you had friends, who were indulging.
Right.
We would go in the bikes. We'll check around. What do you think? Isn't it? If you're not the one indulged, you were the friend. And then without saying anything, something will happen. Isn't it? So yeah, our eyes speak. Our cheeks, if they go up like this, there's a very high chances I'm talking about happy moments. If the cheeks go nowhere, it's maybe, and if your chin goes down, it's a sad expression.
Okay.
There are quite a few bits and pieces like that. If you have a surprise, your lips will roll out.
Right.
If it's a big surprise, then your hand will go, huh?
So yeah, our face can do so much. There are like at least 10 different minimum expressions. Right. We teach this in a very interesting way. If you want to learn more, I would say observe people like Kapil Sharma, observe people like Russell Peters, observe people like Noah, Trevor Noah.
Right.
They do all these, and they
Yeah.
obviously they change their accent as well.
Right.
But it's very powerful.
Right.
Your face can do so much. You can roll your tip like this, lips out. You can make your eyes go like wider,
Huh? Uh-huh.
and then your mouth can open out. If you're sad, then it's. Some people go like, I was sad. Like, excuse me, what was that sadness? If you're sad, then at least make some effort in your facial gesture, right? So yeah, facial gestures are very powerful. There are like 10 to 15 you can do. Again, I'll come back to the same factor. It's about you being more present, because the biggest layer of any public speaking is confidence. Right. That's the foundation. And then if you're in alignment for who you are and you have a desire to serve, almost 70% of job is done. Right. And then you can bring the techniques, which is not bad. You must learn and bring them. But the more you feel the moment, the more you're present, the more powerful it'll become. And I believe you must know this, that your level of awareness is the least. Okay. When you speak.
Okay.
As a human being.
Okay.
So when you're silent, higher
increases.
But when you're speaking, the awareness is at the least. For the brain is designed.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you do more? I go like, huh?
Oh, well, I take pauses. I sit in silence.
Okay.
And I pray. I connect with the source. I call upon my angels, my Kul Devta, Sade Prane, Buzurg, whatever you call it, right? Because they're always like twin soul, twin star, whatever you call it, right? Jo bhi aap naam lete ho. They're always there for our support. We just have to be pure, whatever level we can, and ask for help. And I think they are there supporting you as cheerleaders. They're floating around, with you. I know thoda ye hoo-ha ho raha, but isme bahut strength hai. Power to source se aati hai na. I think whatever we did so far,
right,
we couldn't have done it if there was not a higher source in guiding us. I took a cab to get here. I reached safe. Look at me, I'm all good. Anything would have happened to me, right? So destiny universally is playing its role. And the more we can, in one context, let go or let be, and more we can align, and the more we can ask for help, the more we can say, you know what, guide me. I'm just a vessel or source. I think it just goes as per like powerful ways.
Great.
Not maybe your planned way, but universal planned way.
Amazing. Two last questions for this public speaking podcast, and then I will switch to Hindi for 3 to 4 minutes so that people can know on your personal life as well what we started with. But two last questions of this public speaking podcast, as I have seen few clicks of yours and pics of yours that training in UK, London, and I have seen that you have taken a different costume and some kind of colorful costumes. I want to understand that. What do you do with that? And when I saw it, I really, got very fascinated that, oh, wow, like what's happening here in the room? So what is that?
It's a lesson in learning, which I picked up when I was getting trained to become a trainer. This is in 2009 and 10 with my mentor. And he has this great blessing to bring out a lot of different energy and archetypes from within you. So the learning or the principle, on which this entire foundation of my getting into different avatar works, is that identity is not who I think I am.
Okay.
Identity is who I choose to be or become.
Right.
We all get attached to the identity. And if you get too attached to the identity, you can never surpass that identities, in terms of the power and the success you can have.
Right.
Because you will always have a ceiling. If you want to break the ceiling or if you want to go higher, you have to step into that different avatar or archetype. And that's what we do in our trainings. Me steps into other shoes. Me becomes a commander. Me becomes a fairy. Me becomes a preacher.
Because when you step into a different shoes with different costume, you channelize a different level of energy. And you can even say things to your students, in most cases, you normally may not say it. But because they attach that identity as separate from you, still you, but separate from you, they're kind of okay, with that style, that accent, that wittiness, or that so much of power, coming on somebody's face as a commander. They go like, yeah, maybe it's Amandeep, but it's not Amandeep. So that's where the whole foundation comes from. I think it's very powerful in my personal understanding that you can give much more to your listener when you step into those shoes. So yeah, it comes from my mentor of getting into different archetypes, different avatars, of getting into different costume, and then channelizing a whole different level of experiential training. People think they're learning by taking notes, and then somebody comes and what they do, not physically, but in terms of energy, they take their head and they bang it on the wall 5-7 times with that game or activity. And then people like, I really understand what is self-love now. I just learned it was just some notes for me, but when I did this entire activity, I went against self-love. Now, with that activity shaken up to the core, they're literally crying maybe, or they're like shaking. They understand self-love to the deepest level. So what the commander does very quickly, he picks up people, not physically, but in the way the entire activity is designed, bangs people's head, that did you learn public self-love or not? Do you love yourself or not? Then they go like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So taking notes is not bad, but transformation happens, when you're strongly emotionally connected to that learning. So that's what happens in our advanced training, not in our level ones or a one-day program.
Not vendor program. So has anything gone wrong? Like when you bump the head? Oh my God!
It's just an analogy. I physically don't do that.
Okay.
But the way the entire game is designed, based on obviously a ship theme. When people come and they're doing something, they think this is what they're doing,
Right.
but it's got a whole different swing to it.
Right.
So coming back, I think people, some don't love the character, but they love the foundation of the learning. So they miss the captain for not the style maybe he has, but they miss the captain for the message he gives. So that's what, our trainings are like, very experiential. Yeah, different activities, sometimes different avatar, different energy, different music, different lighting in the room. It just, shakes the core of the human being.
Right.
Making them notes is not bad, but they just like learn at a surface level.
Right.
If you want to go deeper, then you got to shake them out. Yeah, some of my, guest trainers come, they look like me, but they're not me.
You have told these 2 times they look like me, but they're not me.
Yeah, because some people, treat them exactly the way they treat me, and then they get in trouble. And I already give them enough notice,
Okay.
I go like, they look like me, but they're not me. Don't treat them like me. So they go like, oh God.
Yeah. Okay. So there are some resembling people or resemblance.
Yeah, they look quite similar to me.
Right.
But their energy, the way they behave, the way they do things, it's quite different.
Right. Okay. So when you train, like before you, there are some associated trainers who come first and then you come, or you are a soul.
In my training, mostly, I'm the like the main trainer. It's just that my different avatars come, and then they teach a certain message in a very profound, powerful way. It's very experiential.
Right.
So it's not that I can't do it. It's just that they do a better job than me. They're me only, but it's just the extended version of me.
Right. Great.
Like, if you see, there are like trainers, who sometimes you see they have got like an angelic fairy energy, but the same can become like a commander, guiding you differently.
Right.
And the same can become a preacher in the tone they have. So I just take it to a whole different level. So I get into a different kind of, costume, different energy, and then I have a different kind of, theme-based game around that archetype.
Amazing. What will be your last message for those people who want to be public speakers, learn public speaking, be an effective communicator, and a coach and trainer?
The biggest message is love yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, be madly, deeply in love for the person you are, because when you are madly, deeply in love for the person you are, magic will unfold in your journey. Again, if you are planning, thinking for public speaking, I would highly recommend that. Every single penny you will make, every respect you will earn, everything pretty much you will achieve will come from your communication. Every human being gets up on a stage every single day. There are 2 speakers speaking in their brain, and then the speaker you let win wins, pretty much most days. So let that, empowering speaker win most days, if not every day. And again, public speaking will give you massive leverage.
Right.
So you must do public speaking. It can multiply your time. You can have like many hours as a public speaker. Coming back, the biggest message is own yourself, love yourself, and be your biggest fan. I think आप मेरी मदद कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे. शाहरुख खान ने काफ़ी फेमस किया, पर उनकी शायद लिखी हुई लाइनें नहीं हैं कि जब आप शिद्दत से किसी चीज़ को चाहते हैं तो पूरी कायनात लग जाती है.
मैंने कितनी शिद्दत से तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है कि हर जर्रे ने तुमसे मिलाने की
साजिश की है. तो भाई वही है कि आप खुद से मोहब्बत कर लो, बाकी सब हो जाएगा.
I remember a few Hindi lines and I do say Urdu lines it is like मंजिल से आगे बढ़कर मंजिल तलाश कर, मिल जाए तुझको दरिया तो समंदर तलाश कर, हर शीशा टूट जाता है पत्थर की चोट से, पत्थर टूट जाए वो शीशा तलाश कर.
क्या बात. माशाअल्लाह, बहुत बढ़िया.
So the last message was amazing. Any other message that you want to give at the end of the podcast?
No, I think the last thing I would share is that keep learning, keep growing, keep investing in yourself. And the more you invest in yourself, the more powerful you will become. And the more powerful you can become, I think you can then give more to the world.
Right.
The only time people don't give more to the world because they don't have enough of themselves. We are naturally designed to be good to others, to support others, to help others. जब खुद के लिए कम पड़ जाता है तो फिर हम अजीब अजीब हरकतें करते हैं. हर इंसान के कोर में मोहब्बत लिखी हुई है. हर इंसान के कोर में दूसरों के लिए प्यार, मदद, सपोर्ट सब लिखा हुआ है. जब हमारे लिए कम पड़ता है तो हम थोड़े से अजीब हो जाते हैं.
सही बात. तो आप मोहब्बत बिखेर रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल बिखेरनी चाहिए, क्योंकि पूरा फॉर्म ही मोहब्बत का ही बना हुआ है. बट हम लोग इतने स्ट्रगलिंग फेज में चले जाते हैं कि वो भूल जाते हैं. तो बस ठीक है, मोहब्बत करते रहिए और फैलाते रहिए.
तो आप मोहब्बत जो है पूरे देश में फैला रहे हैं और आपको जनता मोहब्बत दे रही है, पब्लिक.
और भी बहुत सारी मोहब्बतें मिलती है, आपको पता ही होगा.
वो वाली मोहब्बत पे मैं जा सकता हूँ, अभी आप रिस्ट्रिक्टेड हैं.
नहीं, आप मैं जिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट से बात कर रहा हूँ वो ऑनलाइन मोहब्बत मिलती है आपको. जिसका इंटरनेट कनेक्शन है, जिसको कुछ लिखना आता है, वो कुछ भी मोहब्बत दे सकता है आपको.
सही बात है, बेशक सही बात.
वो भी आ जाती है, कोई बात नहीं. वो भी क्या कहते हैं ना कि अल्लाह की दी हुई इनायत है, तो कबूल है.
बेशक.
पर कभी कभी लगता है इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद ये यार कौन सी मोहब्बत आ रही है, ये क्या मोहब्बत
क्या आ रहा है.
तो फिर प्रेमानंद जी याद आते हैं कि कोई नहीं, प्रभु आए हैं, अपने रूप से आए हैं, हमने इनके लिए होगी पहले, अब ये अपने हिसाब से आए हैं, तो मोहब्बत का स्वागत है. हाँ, तो माफी, बस माफी.
तो है थोड़ा सा पर्सनल प्रोफेशनल मिक्सचर है कि हिंदी में स्विच कर दिया है कि ऐसा कभी हुआ जैसे कोई कमेंट या कोई ऐसा क्रिटिसिज्म बड़ा मेंटली हरास या टॉर्चर किया, और यार क्या है ये, इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद जो आपने दिल से बोल ही दिया है, मैं थोड़ा कह रहा हूँ
तो क्यों छेड़ रहे हो ना, वो वक्त कितना हो गया है. कभी ना कभी तो आई थिंक ये आना चाहिए. ऑब्वियसली हम किसी का नाम हम तो नहीं लेंगे. अब हेट तो आता ही रहता है नॉर्मली, ऑनलाइन. वो तो, और कई बार तो नज़र में भी नहीं पड़ता. गॉड ब्लेस, जर्नी इतनी अमेजिंग मतलब हो चुकी है कि बहुत काबिल टीम मेंबर्स हैं जो मैनेज कर लेते हैं. देखिए, मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ कि ये लाइन बहुत तकलीफदायक भी होगी अगर आपको एक ना बहुत स्पेशल पावरफुल इंसान बना देती है पब्लिक स्पीकिंग. क्योंकि पब्लिक स्पीकिंग में ना आपका पेडेस्टल ऊपर हो जाता है, तो आपको सब देख रहे हो. आप जिस तरह खाते हो, पीते हो, घूमते हो, जिस तरह से आप डील करते लोगों के साथ, वो सारा काउंट होता है पब्लिक स्पीकिंग. तो ऐसे भी सिचुएशन हुई है कि लोग आए हैं, पूरा कोर्स कर गए, किताब भी लिख दी है उन्होंने, ऑथर भी बन गए, अब तो मतलब कि पब्लिकली अवेलेबल हो आपकी हो, और फिर भी जाके आपके ऊपर रिफंड का केस डाल दिया उन्होंने. तो ऐसे भी केसेस होते हैं. फिर आपको बस वही दोबारा, तब ये वक्त होता जब प्यार जाने लगता है आपका, जाने लगता. तो फिर ये वक्त होता जब आपको अपनी लर्निंग पे काम करना होता है. तो आई थिंक वो वक्त भी इसीलिए आता है कि आपको वो हिम्मत आपकी कहते हैं ना चेक कर सके. तो ऐसे मोमेंट से बहुत तकलीफ ज़रूर होती है. ऐसी बात नहीं कि ईजी होता है, क्योंकि आपने जी जान लगा दिया सब कुछ, ठीक है ना. तो वो अब उसकी वर्ल्ड में वो इतना इनसिक्योर्ड है कि वो खुलना ही नहीं चाहता. अपने इतना हील करने के बाद भी अब उसको तक पहुंच नहीं पाए. तो जो नहीं पहुंच पाए ना, वो पेन रहता है. आपका मकसद होता है कि पहुंचना है, कुछ लेवल की हीलिंग करनी ही करनी है, क्योंकि अगर हीलिंग नहीं होगी ना तो फाउंडेशन नहीं बन पाएगा। हाँ, तो वो अभी भी अपने असमंजस दुनिया में बिखरा हुआ है, उसको लड़ना है। लाइक तो वो लड़ाई वो अपने टीचर के साथ भी जारी रखता है। उसका एक तरीका है बताने का, प्यार करने का, पर वो इतना कड़वा है कि आप चाह के भी कुछ कर नहीं सकते, क्योंकि यहाँ थोड़ा सा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है। पर यूके में ना एक लेवल के बाद जो लीगल सिस्टम है, आप उसके आगे नहीं जा सकते, क्योंकि ना फिर वो लाइक फिर बहुत बड़ा रिस्क हो सकता है आपके लिए। तो कमिंग बैक ऐसे सिचुएशन भी होते हैं, तो वो बहुत आई थिंक पेनफुल है किसी भी टीचर के लिए।
बहुत पेनफुल है। हाँ, ये कनेक्ट कर रहा है, बहुत ज़्यादा कनेक्ट कर रहा है। आपने ज़्यादा एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा, हम लोग को भी बड़ा दिक्कत होती है इन सब चीज़ों का। बड़ी मेहनत करने के बाद जो है चीज़ें जब नहीं आती है तो दिक्कत होती है। तो इस केस में मतलब क्या होता है कि ओके या नहीं, तकलीफ है।
नहीं, देखिए सच तो है, तकलीफ है, पर जो भी आपके गुरु हैं या जिनको भी आप मानते हैं, बस उनको याद कीजिए। आजकल तो हम प्रेमानंद जी से
अच्छा,
बहुत मोहब्बत
मुतासिर है मोहब्बत।
बस वो यहाँ आ जाते हैं, वो कहते हैं प्रभु आए हैं,
प्रभु आए,
प्रभु
जो
आए,
हो रहा है सब अच्छा हो रहा है।
प्रभु आए हैं, रूप लेकर आए हैं, रंग लेकर।
सही
थैंक यू। कर्मा काट रहे हैं हमारे।
सही बात।